at Laguna Seca, Northern California, just up the road from Fort Ord, the firing range, where we are loaded and ready to go with the battle number 10 of the American Le Mans Series. Hello everybody, I'm Derek Daly alongside Jeremy Dale here, and welcome to one of the great motorsports locations in North America, and welcome to the latest sports car battleground. On the pole, this car was qualified by Capello this time, joined by McNish the Audi. Beside him, Magnussen and Bravo. Through Magnussen, Vila and Leto side by side. Then Johnny O'Connell and Orwell and Gugnon in the second of the BMWs.
The Corvettes are 12th and 13th, of course, first and second in class.
And then you see the Vipers, Beretta and Wendlinger in 14th place as you move on down through. Look at Tommy Kendall, number 15th on the grid. That's the Celine car that we mentioned earlier on. They are only a second off the pace, believe it or not, in their debut, a car that has no testing. Oh, did you see the jump that Pano's got?
Magnussen with a huge jump down into turn one, and he'll definitely lead. Look at the Audi is back to 5th.
Absolutely swallowed up was Capello, and Magnussen took it. Imagine one of the BMs are off.
The Audi and the BMW coming together there down in turn 2.
It is the number 43 car, Bill Orwell, and Gugnon is behind the wheel.
So look at this lead now for Jan Magnussen with the BMW second, Pano's third, and then the two Audis. There's the first of the Audis with Capello.
So Magnussen gets a great jump. I don't know what happened to the Audi. Remember, they have a turbocharged engine, so maybe there's a tiny bit of lag. But what a superb run by Magnussen. J.J. Leto is right behind him.
And they're pretty even here, and it looks like the Audi might have gone and then, just for a moment, checked up, or maybe even missed a gear, although it's very hard to do in these cars with the paddle shifters, and then Jan Magnussen is just gone.
And you see what happened? He actually blocked in his teammate. Frank Vila was right behind him. He literally had to back off and go just as slow as him. Oh, the number 6 BMW is off the road. What a shame.
And Derek, whatever has happened, that is a major incident. I don't know if that car lost a wheel or if it's made contact.
Oh, the Corvette is beginning to smoke, and all these boys tripped over each other.
Look at.
Absolutely. Strike 2 to road rage. We're only 2 laps in, and we've had 2 whacks already.
And there's no question this car is going to have to start. That smoke you see is the tire rubbing on the bodywork, and that creates a serious safety concern for these guys. You'll probably see it coming down the hill here because, yes, the right rear heavily loaded coming down through turn 9. And there is Leto going up the hill. There are the GT leaders. So they've just gone down a lap to Jan Magnussen and J.J. Leto.
The number 52 car, Tony Burgess and Christophe Bouchou. Christophe Bouchou drafted in from the European FIA GT Series with Team Avia. They have joined forces with Sequel Motorsports to put that car at the head of the field here. The number 5 car, of course, we're familiar with that being Dick Barber's car. Dirk Mueller in the number 50.
And here it is. He wants to make the pass.
That's reverse almost. That is the problem right there. Now, one of the difficulties with the rear wings on these GT and GTS cars, it is very difficult to see out the back. Johnny O'Connell got himself in trouble. That is him just pulling away from a standstill. So now he goes from position 3 all the way back to position 6 right now. Very costly.
And a real break for the Audis because O'Connell definitely was holding them back just a little bit. Here's the replay. Oh, and that's what it was. It was one of the Audis. It was Capello taking a run at O'Connell, and he runs him right out to the exit of the corner, and Johnny O'Connell spins that car trying to get back to power.
Oh, the number 5 car is in trouble. Big trouble. What? He must have hit something.
Damage down here on the right front corner, guys. You can see it now. We've got a good shot of this. And actually, the suspension is completely broken. I saw some sparks as he brought it down pit lane. It looks like the day may be over for the number 5 car. And this car was unbeatable early in the year.
And look at the BMW has now been caught by Capello and the Audi. The Audi has a little bit of traffic here, but Capello has caught the BMW.
So he is trying to behave himself and make his way through the traffic as carefully as possible. And there is Jan Magnussen still out in the lead, but things are beginning to get a bit of problematic for him too. He has damaged the right front side of the car. How did he do it? Believe it or not, he hit somebody. at the corkscrew. Top of the hill, that's Kevin Buckler in the number 66 blue Porsche.
And you can see Magnussen wasn't really close, and the Porsche tries to leave him room. There's contact there. The Porsche spins. You see the dive plane there on the right side of the screen disappearing. We've got another angle here, and you'll be able to see it. Watch the little piece of bodywork right there. It goes disappearing off to the right side of the racetrack.
Well, the clock may have struck midnight on the fairy tale story of the Saleen S7. As you can see, it's in the pits, crew working on it. Steve Saleen, what is the problem?
We have a transmission problem. The car seemed to be running fine, and then he got it in 5th gear and couldn't get it out. I guess we kind of expect these things. That's why we're here testing.
But few teams have ever debuted a new car this auspiciously. Unbelievable.
Jeremy, have a look at what happens here.
Well, this is Leto and Capello coming down to put a lap on one of the slower Porsches. Watch Leto here. He's trying to get back to his turn-in point, and he hits the Porsche, and then that puts the Porsche into the Audi. The Porsche spins. That is J.J. Leto's fault. Shane Lewis in the number 21 Porsche, totally a victim in that situation.
The sports car, everybody knows we've had problems with contact with the prototypes and the GT cars. Sports car officials come down, they talk and they talk and they talk about how they're going to do something, how they're going to do something. I think they're going to wait till somebody gets killed out there. I don't know who's running the show. We're just out there, it's just like, you know, anything goes anymore. Something's got to be done. They told us, they promised us they would sit down and do something, and this took place. It happened again.
We have another incident just one lap ago.
This is where he stops it inside the Viper because he knows that Leto's going through and he doesn't want to lose contact. So there's a little bit of contact there, right rear of the Audi. The Viper ends up going off the road. Lucky not to spin because it is very easy to spin at the exit of turn 6 there.
We are back and we have an elite change because the BMW driven by J.J. Leto has just swept past Jan Magnussen. But Magnussen made it somewhat easy because, believe it or not, he was given a stop-and-go penalty for the incident that we showed you earlier on when he hit Kevin Buckler, the number 66, the blue Porsche, at the top of the corkscrew. Now there is Kevin Buckler.
Who was that?
Yikes.
Who was that? That looked like a BMW to me. It was the 43 car. Has that Porsche put some oil down there? Look at there you go. There's the leader. The leader's off, Derek. Both of the BMWs off there at turn 3. So Magnussen back in the lead, but now with the Audi hot on his heels. Yeah, that car has lost a motor, and there is a bunch of oil on the racetrack. So Magnussen back in the lead after the 42 car went off in the same location. So J.J. Leto pays the price. And right now, look at this, Derek. The 78 car is in front of the 77 car. So somewhere, the 78 Audi got around the 77 Audi. And here is our leader, Jan Magnussen. He comes down pit lane.
Calvin?
Well, Jan Magnussen brings the car in. As you can see, Derek, the front dive planes are completely missing on the right side of the car. The crew goes to work. Jan is going to stay in. They do not look like they're going to be changing tires. Frank Bieler pulls it in. We're going to see a driver change. As you mentioned, Jeremy, it's going to be Pirro jumping in here. And at the same time, Capello has brought the sister car in, the number 77 machine right behind him. So both Audis are in.
We are an hour and a half into this thing. We have seen so much action, and still the first 3 cars are covered by a blanket. They make their pit stops, and they still come out one behind the other.
Olivier, it's kind of strange. You were due for a pit stop as you entered pit lane. The right front wheel left you. What caused that?
I was in a corner fast, and suddenly the wheels became like this. And I called the pit, and the pits were ready, so everything went well.
So there's a little bit of telemetry from the Magnussen car. Now, these guys did not change tires, so right now they're sitting on about a 22-second lead, but that is only because they did not take tires like the BMWs and like the Audi. So it'll be very interesting to see if this car can continue its pace without having changed tires on that stop. 43 car, what a day.
What is Gagnon doing here? He's been off the road now at least 3 times that we've actually seen.
Oh, well, look at that. It was the Audi was trying to get a position, and these two are leaning on each other. He's trying to play hardball with the Audi, and they both go around.
Can you believe what these boys are doing here?
They're in the braking zone here. McNish isn't really even that close, but now look at where he puts the car. So the BMW gets stacked up a little bit behind the Saleen, but it's almost like Yunnan missed a gear there or something because he just wasn't getting with the program. And I think, oh, look at that, there was contact. Pretty good little contact on the left front. You know, there are not a lot of racing cars that you can justifiably call tanks. But these Audis, if there has ever been a race car that you can call a tank, certainly these Audis seem to fit the bill. Look at the rubber along the right side of that car. That is the contact with the BMW. And Alan McNish now back to 5th position with that incident. So this number 77 car well down, and Alan McNish has got a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, this is the toughest day these new Audis have had. The number 51 car is in the pits, Calvin.
Well, they seem to be having a big gearbox problem. Bob Willick has jumped in behind the wheel. Sasha Masson has jumped out, but the crew are now, they did the routine stuff, fuel and tires, and now they're trying to look at the shift linkage, it looks like, down inside this Porsche. It's really going to cost them in the championship here today. These guys have been running so strong lately, and this is going to cost them many laps under green.
Now this is on board with Alan McNish, who has caught the number 42 car, so this is the battle for 4th place.
And this Audi, it is incredible how many times this can get whacked, and to the untrained eye, it still looks remarkably intact. Welcome back, and here is the sorry sight. Jan Magnussen brought the leading Penos car into the pit lane, put in David Brabham, but they have had to take off that front nose cone for some reason. Steve?
What more can happen to this poor number 1 car? He gets bumped off the pole by a tick of the clock, then a stop-and-go penalty, and now there are motor problems.
Pirro now to have a clear lead, 20 seconds of a lead over the second Penos car, driven by Johnny O'Connell and Cato. JJ Leto and Mueller, with Mueller behind the wheel now, is in 3rd. McNish is still trying to run these boys down, but he is about 24 seconds behind Pirro, his teammate, in the lead. But just take a look here, Jeremy, because this shows how close this can be every single lap.
Well, this is a perfect example. Look at him. Jörg Mueller cannot commit to going to the outside there, and so he has no choice but to go to the inside. That's what gives the Audi the run. You see, Mueller has to go right because the lane hasn't opened up, but all of a sudden for McNish, the lane opens up, and he gets a shot at the BMW. After
about 2 hours of racing, after the boxing match that these leaders have been involved in, the Audis finally get to run 1-2.
And traffic plays into this. You can see they come up to pass. It's actually one of the slower LMP cars, and McNish just stuffs it in at the last moment, and I don't think Mueller was expecting that at all.
Wow, that was a risk now to go right down to the apex like that. You better hope. He waves.
Oh, that's cheeky.
He waves.
That's very cheeky.
Wow. I'm not sure JJ Leto will appreciate that. Welcome back, and there is our GT leader right behind the Viper, the number 23 car, Alex Job's car. Bruno Lambert from Brussels in Belgium is behind the wheel. All was not well, though, Jeremy, about a lap ago.
Well, this was coming down the corkscrew, and there was no one around the car, and so we have to assume that either something went wrong with the car, although he's still out on the racetrack and running good lap times, or he just spun it, which is entirely possible. Two of the Vipers here, the number 91 car, the GTS leader, climbs the hill up out of turn 6. And that car right now has about a 37-second lead on the number 3 Corvette that has Ron Fellows on board right now.
The Petit Le Mans was such a great event. Corvette got their second win. But this car here still, it is tough to beat these boys if they don't strike trouble. Now, the number 77 car is shown about 20 seconds, Jeremy, you think, behind?
13 right now. And this has been a bit of an ebb and flow with the traffic between 17 and 15 and 13, but I do think that McNish is definitely going quicker, about 2 seconds quicker on that last lap.
Back on track, our number 7 BMW is now leading the GT category. So Borisset and Hans Stuck have hauled that BMW up to lead the GT category. And the braking zone.
That's a pretty bold place to pass for the class lead, I'll tell you, but I think, again, it was a case of Lambert probably was not even aware that he was there or was going to try and make that pass as the prototype car was going up the inside.
Well, the leader is goes in, and Manuel Pirro, it looks like they're going to do tyres, which is somewhat of a surprise. They changed tyres on the first stop on both Audis, and then they're checking tyres. They may not be changed, and actually the tyres come back over the wall. They've inspected the tyres, which they're allowed to do during the stop. They went for the last stop to fuel. Alan McNish hits his marks perfectly. Look at the damage to the front end, Jeremy. You can see there the dive plane that was damaged early in the going when Capello was behind the wheel. But we also see a bit of damage to the rear of the car. Going back down, big tire marks there. That's the incident with the 43 BMW.
Here is the fight for the lead, because Alan McNish, believe it or not, during the pit stops managed to hang on to that lead. So now we are 2.5 hours into it, and he manages to get himself into the lead.
And the advantage here for McNish is that he did not change tires. Of course, neither car did, but when you come out of the pit lane, you're not on cold tires. At least those tires have a little bit of heat. You can see immediately he's up to speed in that car.
Wow, here comes Sherman in the tank. He's been hit by the BMW. He's hit the concrete wall. He's been off the road. 2.5 hours later, he still managed to be in the lead.
There's some contact up there. That's Cato in the Panos. Now, is that contact, or is he having mechanical problems with that car?
No,
that's contact. All by himself. Didn't have any help there. And not quite enough commitment to get it turned around and pointed down the hill when he did get it going, obviously, because he ended up across the racetrack.
Cato in all sorts of trouble. Shrapnel and debris everywhere.
And the problem is the guys coming up the hill cannot see that car. We can see it from our angle, but look at him.
How could he avoid the action right there?
Well, they can't see him. That car sits down in a little dip there, and he needs to get out of that car. Well, that looks like it started coming out of turn 6, that he got off the road coming out of 6 and just tried to milk it all the way up the hill.
Look at the wheels. Okay, so boys, here we go again. Audi, there's the Celine car in the middle of the mix.
That was very peculiar. I thought, well, this looks like we're green, but you wouldn't know it by the tire warming going on by the second place car.
No. Look at the boys just run away. Of course, that's the GTS battle. Right behind there, the two BMWs running third and fourth. Alan McNish, we saw, we were on board, and with the audio, you could hear him clamp the concrete wall earlier, and he still was able to drive away. When the gearbox breaks, they take less than 4 minutes to change the whole back of the car. So now Pirro is right behind him as Alan McNish gets to celebrate. What an impressive display by this Audi team to come to the American Le Mans Series. GTS winner now goes across to number 91, Wendlinger and Beretta. There is your GT winner. Anstuck and Boris said combined to bring that thing. That now ends Porsche's 13 race in a row win streak.
Alan, great performance, your 5th win of the year, but it was pretty tight there. You got Emanuele under the stop there, and you got out quick, and he put some pressure on you today.
Yeah, he did. The biggest thing, though, is I'm extremely disappointed with Jean-Marc Gounod. What he did when I came up to lap him was just absolutely unacceptable. As a driver, I would be very, very embarrassed to do something like that myself, and I just don't accept it. That's at the point where I thought the race was gone, because we were able to fight, even though the problems we had early on, we were able to fight. That put us right back, and we had to concentrate and be careful just to try and pick things off when I could. But the team did a very, very good pit stop. I was able to get into the pit, a good in-lap into the pit, and I was able to get a good out-lap, and that was the important deciding factor.
For the 5th time this year, Alan McNish gets to stand on the number 1 spot on the podium, and it gives us a chance to look at our unofficial results. And it was somewhat predictable at the end of the day, Jeremy, but I tell you what, it was a fight for Audi to get there.